All right, CNT125 troubleshooting lab. We are now working on part 2. So, reminder up top here is after you're done with part 1, save that, packet tracer file, put it aside, close it if you will. You're now going to download the part 2 packet tracer file. This is going to look similar, but it has different problems in. So when you download and open this guy, here it is part 2, download this guy, open them up. You're going to see it's similar. You have the ISP over here, router, switch, phones, workstations, access point, laptop. It's going to be similar, but there are different problems in it. Okay, so make sure you are opening and using the part 2 packet tracer file for this part of the lab. So now that you have that, part 2, we've downloaded the packet tracer file. I've opened it. Here it is right here. What you want to do is familiarize yourself with the map. This is going to look similar to part 1. It has a lot of similar IP addresses and configuration, but you'll notice down, I should say, pay attention to the IP addresses that are here, the ports that are here, and then down at the bottom, there's little notes on what problem each one of these users is having. This laptop, this PC, this PC. Those are your hints on what you're looking for to troubleshoot their problem. And I actually have that replicated in the lab for you as well here. I have, this is the problem they're having. Okay, so familiarize yourself with the map. Once you've done that, you're now going to move on to here. And what you're going to do is do the exact same process we did in the first half. You work your way through layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4, and try to rectify the problem that PC1 is having. As you're doing that, take some notes for yourself. Where did you locate the problem? And then take some notes on what did you do to fix the problem. Maybe it was a bad patch cable, and you put the patch cable on the correct port or something like that. Take notes on what you did, and then do it. Do it in the packet tracer file and take notes on what you did. And then work on PC2, same thing. Layer 1, 2, 3, 4, find the problem, correct it, take notes on what you did, and then correct it in packet tracer. Okay. Do the same thing for laptop user over here. Locate the problem that they're having. Find it. Take note on what it is and fix it. Okay, so take note on what you did and then fix it here in the packet tracer file. That way you can bring all 3 of these users online at this site. That's what you're trying to do. You're acting as the technician called to this site to help them with their issues. So as you find the problems, fix them, and then take notes on what you did and keep record of that. When you are done, you're going to gather proof of each one of these have been repaired. So I'm going to have you do a trace from, PC1 over to CNT.org and save that in a text file. So there's proof that you do have full connectivity over to the ISP. On PC2, you're going to do a trace route to network.org. That's the other web server. That way I know this is unique to this PC. Save that in a text file as PC2. For the laptop, I'm going to have you trace over to ftp.cnt.org. Again, that's a different entity at the ISP. That way I know this was the laptop that did it. Save that as your laptop. And save that in your text file for your laptop. Last but not least, save your working packet tracer file. If I have any doubts or any questions on connectivities here, I can open your packet tracer file and verify. Okay, so save your packet tracer file as well for proof. So those 4 files are going to be proof of doing the second part of your troubleshooting lab. Alrighty, so use everything you learned in the first half, work your way through layer 1, 2, 3, 4, and so forth on the way up. And there is, I tried to keep it roughly a distinct problem for this guy, a distinct problem for this guy, and a distinct problem for this guy. So there really should not be overlap between them. But just work your way through your layers like you did in the first half of the lab. Take note of what the problem was and how you fixed it, and then do implement the fix on your packet tracer file. Alrighty? When you're done, your traces for each of these, save them in your packet tracer file, save that. And then last but not least, I do have some questions here, some review questions on what you were doing in the lab. What is the function of your ipconfig command, the ping command, trace command, nslookup command? How do you verify layer 1, 2, 3, and 4 connectivity? And then down here, I'm going to have you tell me for PC1, what was the problem and how did you solve it? PC2, what was the problem? How did you solve it? Laptop, what was the problem? How did you solve it? And then describe for me what you were using as your troubleshooting method. How did you go about tackling all these? And then gather your files to submit to D2L. So for the first half of the lab, you have your 2 config files, router and switch. For the second half, you have the traces from all of your devices, PC1, PC2, and laptop. Then you'll have the packet tracer file from part 2, and then your troubleshooting questions at the end of the lab as well. And all those will get submitted to the Dropbox on D2L for your troubleshooting lab.